about to stretch here. And today my lower back is like super tight, so I'm gonna pay a lot of attention there. Peace to you, Tanisha. So if you want to stretch with me, you can. I do offer virtual stretch. I offer virtual classes every Wednesday. So I don't think y'all can see me, so I'm gonna move you back a little bit more. Let's see, that should be enough. My lower back is tight and really just doing the most. Hey D, how you doing? So that's what I'm gonna focus on. We're gonna start off in child's pose here, with your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. You're gonna arch your spine and gaze up. So that movement right there stretches the front of your body. And then you're going to push the ground away from you and round your spine, crunch your abs. And that stretches your back. Let's continue. Inhale as you arch the back. Exhale as you crunch. Already that is starting to feel good. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. So now we'll take some lateral flexion. I'm going to turn this way so you can see just side to side motion. There's no wrong way to do this as long as you're safe. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now I want you to think of S shapes, leading with the shoulders, middle back, and then hips. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to go back to the original cat and cow. Arch the spine, gaze up, press the ground away. We're loosening the spine here. Here's 4, 3, 2. Take the side bends, lateral flexion. 4, 3, 2. S shapes now. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. So we'll pause here. Take the knees wide as the mat. Big toes touch. We're going to slide into what's called wide leg child's pose. Now your hands can be down here. You can be on your forearms, or you could be reaching your hands forward. For me, I'm going to stay here and drop my forehead to my thumbs. This is really good if you're in the gym and you don't want to put your face on the floor. You can make a pillow with your hands and just breathe here. So my lower back is really, really tight, and as a result, so are my hips. Hold and breathe. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your hands to the mat. Come back into all fours. And this time we're going to curl the back toes under and shift from child's pose to all fours. And maybe come into modified plank with it. Here's 4, 3, 2, and hold your hips back toward the glutes. really divine right now. It's 4, 3, crawl the fingers forward, 2, and 1. Come back into all fours, and we're going to take a seated position next. I hope your Sunday is going well, and if it's not, I hope it gets well. Alright, so now we're going to do that same cat and cow while sitting. Get on the very bottom part of your body. Cat and cow this time. Arch the back, gaze up. So this will bring the hips into it. Right? So as you tuck the hips forward, exhale. Now when you come here, you begin to feel the stretch in the outer hips. It is 4, 3, that feels really good. 2, thank you for liking the live. We're gonna hold right here, curve the spine. Press the knees against the hands against the knees, and come back upright. So now we're going to take these torso rotations, nice and slow and easy. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then reverse. So how many times a week should you stretch? You should stretch daily. Preferably multiple times a day, but if you could only do one, I would choose morning or night. I'm gonna do one more. I feel my back feeling so much better right now. Come back upright. We're gonna change the cross of the legs now. Y'all, when I woke up, it was hard to walk. I was in so much pain and tightness. I took a hot shower, and now I'm doing my stretches. So this is a form of self-care. You can see it as that because it is. Inhale, create space in your spine, nice and flat, tall spine. You're gonna place your hands on your knees and pull against your knees to bring your chest forward. And then come back upright. Here's 4, 3, 2. Try to keep your flat back. And 1. Hold right here. Release your hands down or your arms, however you want to do that. Try to keep your flat back as flat as it can be. That's about as flat as mine will go. And then curve down. I like to bring one shoulder forward than the other. It's creating more space in the lower back. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. And roll up. So when I woke up this morning, I can guarantee you I could not even bend over this far. Usually throughout the day, I become more flexible as my body warms up, but this is what it's like in the morning. Okay, so change the cross of the legs. And before I teach a stretch class, I usually have to stretch. So there's that. Let's take torso rotations on this side. If you experience back pain, then you gotta take care of it daily. Because doing so relieves the pain. You know, who doesn't want to have pain relief here? It's gotten to the point with what's going on with my back that taking ibuprofen is just not that helpful. So I need to explore other options and reverse. Those other options involve stretching, of course. That's my love, but I focus on my back a lot. juice, anti-inflammatory, veggies and fruits. And pause at the center right here. Nice and tall in the spine. Again, take your forward fold. Try to keep your back flat as you lead with the chest. Gaze forward and come back up. And again, forward. And these are the literal stretches I do to release my own back. Tight lower back, tight hips leads to hard moments with the knees as well. Because the body is a whole chain. It's never just one thing wrong and only that. It kind of throws everything off alignment. Here's 4, 3, 2, and I take my time and be very gentle. Hold forward. Release the hands down, the forearms, however you want to do that. If you have a yoga bolster, let me show you this. Because sometimes I'm so tight, like folding forward right here is very difficult. So what I will do is place my hands on something like this until I get the space in my spine, and then I can continue to fold. So right now, this is uncomfortable. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, rise. So now we're going to work on the hips, because the hips and the lower back, you could tell they're very close and they are interdependent, right? So bring your feet wider than the hips. Bring your hands behind you with your fingertips pointing back or outward. Notice my spine is tall. I'm not collapsing into it. So roll the shoulder blades back and hold. And we're just going to rock the knees side to side. If your lower back is tight, chances are your hips are also tight, right? So you don't want to just do the lower back unless you don't have time. If you do have time, then coming into these movements will help too. And so there's active dynamic stretching, which are usually moving stretches. That's what we're doing right here. And then there's static stretching. That's when we hold. You need to do both kinds. Well, all 3, because they're actually 3 very different ones. Here's 4, 3. Notice as I'm bringing my knees from one side to the other, I am twisting in my lower back, right? Here's 4. Let's do 4 more. I had to. 3, because it feels good. 2, we're going to drop the knees to the left side and hold. Try to keep your chest forward. Now we're bringing the inner thigh in. So we have the inner hip, the outer hip, and lower back, all depending on one another for stability. Right? Notice my chest is proud. I'm not collapsing down. I'm very intentional in my body placement. That feels good. I can feel the elongating happening in my inner hip. Inhale with knees to center. We're going to exhale to the other side. Keeping the chest forward and proud. That side is tighter, so I'm experiencing more of a challenge right now. Sometimes people think, oh, it's easy for you to stretch. It's usually not. It just looks easy. Good. Let's hold to the left one more time with one addition. Bring your arm around to meet the other. Gaze up, so my knees are to the left. I want you to squeeze your right glute right there. Peace, peace, peace. And let's come to the other side. Come on back through center. Ooh, that's a thing on that side. Breathe. Now notice we've had our legs bent a lot, So we need to do what's called a counter stretch. So we've bent the legs a lot. That means this has contracted a lot. Now we need to release the front of the hips, and we'll do that through a bridge. So you can either lay on your back and do a bridge, lift your hips, lay on your back, lift your hips, or come with me into what's called a reverse tabletop, pressing through the heels. Keep your chin tucked a little, squeeze in the belly for 4, 3. You also feel that stretch around along the front of the chest, the shoulders rather, and release. Very nice. All right, so next I'm going into some runner's lunges followed by half split. Come back into all fours. I'm going to turn this way so you can see. I'm going to step my left foot up alongside of my left pinky. I'm going to release the top of the back foot down into the mat. Keep your chest lifted, pressed upright. If this is uncomfortable, you can put your hands down. If you have yoga blocks, you can put the blocks there. So here, I'm stretching the front of the thigh, the hip flexor, right? So remember, this lower back works in tandem with the hip flexors and the outer hip. All of it is connected. So lower back care means we're taking care of hips too. Good. Now, curl your back toes under, frame your foot on your fingertips, straighten your leg now. Bring your toes in the air, that's called flex. My hamstrings are super tight, and that's not surprising with how my back was feeling today. And come back into your runner's lunge. I'm gonna place one hand on my thigh, release the back top foot. Okay. Half split coming back. Hamstring. So here we're stretching the hamstring of the left leg. When you come into your runner's lunge, you're stretching the front of the hip of the right leg. So let's go ahead and add a twist here. Place your hand on your knee and open your chest towards your bent knee, gaze up. That feels good. And breathe. So the key to stretching is breathing. Deep inhales and exhales for 4, 3, 2, and 1. That feels so good. Half split one last time. If your knee is bothering you, keep your hips high. Don't bring them so low. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch sides. We're doing the exact same thing. Step on the outside of your pinky. My hips are super tight and even painful right now. Scoot your back knee back just a little bit and come up with hands on the knee. And let's lean into this runner's lunge here. Try to keep your front knee right over your ankle. Release the top of the back foot to the mat. If that's too intense, you can keep that back foot curled under. That's up to you. Coming into a half split, we're going to hinge forward. Place the hands down on either side of the front foot. Curl your back toes under. Straighten your right leg. Ouch. When I say ouch, I feel a challenge. No sharp pains. You should never feel sharp pain when you're stretching. If you do, stop that immediately. Chest is proud. Let's walk forward into the runner's lunge again. So we see this coupling that we're doing with stretching. If you stretch the front side, stretch the back. If you stretch the right, also stretch the left. Okay. Good. Let's come into the half split. So notice I'm staying pretty high in my hips on this side because my knee feels tight and I just don't feel like working with that right now. All right, runner's lunge. Sometimes the knee can feel tight when there has been repetitive injury or a current injury, or something is pulling that joint out of place, right? Something compromised the integrity of it, which for me could be that lower back. Okay. Half split. If your knee hurts when you do this, you can put a blanket under it, okay? Or you can fold your mat and make some extra cushion. Come forward in your runner's lunge. How many times should we do these stretches? I do them until I feel release, until I feel better, right? So that might be 5, 6, 8 times. Bring your hand to your knee and open your chest towards your bent knee. Twist and gaze up. So the reason I share with you about my own personal pain is so you don't think that, oh, I just get here stretching because it always feels good. It doesn't always feel good, but I know it is good, and so that's why I do it. Let's take runner's half split one more time. Sometimes I feel tired, sometimes my body feels resistant. If there's an injury, usually my lower back has that herniated disc and some degeneration there. So I'm here with you. I understand the pain part. All right, so we're gonna come back into runner's lunge. Bring your hands inside your foot and scoot it back behind you again. Okay, coming into a seated position once again. I'm gonna rock my hips side to side. So imagine you are washing your hair, right? If you wash your hair, you want to keep washing it until it's clean, and it has a feeling when it's clean, right? Well, when you're stretching, you want to keep stretching until the tightness is relieved, right? That means you've cleared some energy, stuck and stagnant energy. It takes energy to cause a muscle to contract. That means it feels tight. It shortens, right? And so if your muscle stays tight and stays shortened, that means you have a buildup of unnecessary energy in that muscle. The unnecessary energy prevents that muscle from moving well. It blocks blood flow. It makes you more likely to incur injuries. It's harder to move with that. So that's another reason to stretch. You walk around in pain with a tight back. It's hard to move. You feel drained and tired. When I'm in pain, I feel tired. So now that my back is looser and more flexible, I feel more energetic. You don't usually start off feeling energetic. That comes, right? I'm gonna take reverse tabletop. And release. The days I look forward to stretching are usually the days that I've been exercising all day, or I just finished a class and I can't wait to stretch. Otherwise, it's like, oh my God, okay, am I ready for this? We're coming into butterfly legs. Let the soles of the feet touch, the knees flare open. With your hands, grasp the front of your ankle. And notice my spine is tall, right? So resist rounding the spine. Roll your shoulders back and down. Squeeze your belly and hold. And maybe move the knees. For 4, 3, 2, and 1, and hold. So if you've been doing this stretch for a while, and I have, so I'm about to progress it, you can put weights here and just press down. The weights are going to help elongate that muscle as you're breathing. But for now, we'll be here. Squeeze the heels in close to the body. Ooh, you feel that in your inner hip. In the inner hip crease. It's a lot. Keep your chest proud. If this is too uncomfortable, release your feet away from the body again. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the feet farther away from the body now. Be tall in the spine. Pull against the front of your ankles to bring your chest forward. Notice how I did that. I didn't just curve down, right? I used the leverage of my hands pulling against my front feet or ankles to bring my chest forward, and I'm holding there for 4, 3, 2, and come back upright. Release the fingers, maybe tighten and release them if they feel a little tight. And again, we're going to place the hand in front of the ankle and pull the chest forward. As you continue, you may reach for your toes. So when I first started, even this was a lot. And it's still a lot. It's just a bit easier. As you inhale and exhale, imagine your back releasing. So here I am experiencing some pain. It's not sharp pain. It's the pain I know that has to do with tightness of my lower back, right? I also feel the challenge in my hips. There is some pain there. They're sore, that's why. But sharp pain, let's not tolerate that, okay? So when I'm here, I like to just swivel and sway to see if I can encourage those muscles to create some more space. Maybe forward shoulder rolls. And as you notice, it gave me another inch or 2, okay? Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, rise. I'm going to release my legs out in a V shape here. Ooh-wee. I don't know if you're doing that, but that was quite intense. So the reason I'm shaking my legs like this is I'm loosening the muscle again, encouraging the blood flow to come back, because when you are folded or when knees are flexed, blood flow could be hindered temporarily. So we want to get it flowing again. So notice here, again, my spine is flat. When I come forward, I want to hinge at the hip, not curve at the spine, okay? So as I hinge at the hip, I'm bringing my chest forward and come back upright. Hamstrings are tight, but they are better than when I first began, right? Good. So a lot of people try to forward fold by doing this, and they can't go far, and they say, I'm so not flexible. But that's because you're stretching your back right here. There's only so far your back can go, right? But if you hinge at the hip, your hips can cause your upper body to descend lower, okay? So it doesn't mean you're not flexible. You may just not have the right form, okay? So I'm gonna reach my arms forward and try to keep my back flat as it can be. That's about as flat as it's gonna go. And I'm releasing my forearms to the mat. Now again, press up and inhale. Let's come back into butterfly. Squeeze the heels in tight, flat back. Release the feet farther away from the body. Inhale. Bring your chest forward, then round. So that feels a little better. And somebody may say, I don't have this much time. You don't need to take all of this time. You could take 10 minutes, and that's better than nothing. Okay. Inhale, rise. Legs come out in a V shape. 10, 15 minutes, you do have that, and that's better than nothing. Take a forward fold. Your body will thank you, and maybe you can work to 15 minutes and then 20 minutes. And when you start seeing the benefit, you may want to do longer. If I had the time, I really could stretch for hours. I really could. Simply because I know how good I'm going to feel after. So here, I'm just having some dynamic movement, pressing the arms straight, bringing the body upright. I'm rounding the spine. So as I'm doing this, the body is getting more comfortable with this movement, so it will allow me to go farther and farther down. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, rise. Let's take butterfly legs one last time as we are coming to the end of this session. I feel so much better, y'all. I feel so much better. Squeeze your heels in close. And anybody who deals with chronic pain knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, I wish I could stretch and have a massage all day long. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your feet farther away. Hands around the front of the ankle, flat back hinge. That feels so different. Still a challenge. I'm not saying it's not. And come upright. Now we're going to lay down on our back here. One of the best feelings is to lay on your back and put your legs up against a wall right here. When you have lower back pain, picture a wall right here and just lay there. You can type on your phone like that. You can read. Your lower back will thank you. Bend your knees, plant your feet here. Bring your hands along the side of your body and just rock the knees side to side. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center. Bring both knees towards your chest and embrace there. Squeeze and rock side to side. That's so amazing. Right there. Deep inhales and exhales for 4, 3, 2. Thank you for liking the live. 1. Come back to center and just squeeze. Now allow the knees to separate, big toes to touch. We're taking butterfly pose. Once again. Press your shoulders down into the mat. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Squeeze the knees together, drop the feet. Take your left ankle onto your right knee and press the knee open so you feel the stretch right there at the inner hip crease. That feels amazing down in the deep core, creating space there. Whenever you create space in your body, make sure you fill it with something beautiful, something desirable, because what you just did was release unnecessary energy. So then you breathe into that space something beautiful. For me, I'm breathing lots of relief in there. Deep inhale and exhale. And what does it mean to breathe it in? Inhale, imagine the breath going right down to that space. And exhale, gratitude, or exhale the thing you don't need. All right, we're releasing that press Bring your right foot into the air. It's called a figure 4. I'm going to bring my hands along the back of my right thigh. Roll your ankles. You know, a lot of people don't stretch their ankles. And how you know that you need to stretch them: when you squat, your heels want to come up. You know you need to stretch them when you have externally rotated feet or internally rotated. Rolling your ankle affects the leg muscles that keeps the ankle in place, okay? And let's lower the foot and switch sides. So here again, the knee may be upright. I want you to press it down and forward. Feel the release in the lower back, in the front of the deep abdominals as well, depending on where you're pressing. Deep inhales and exhales. Good. And release. Bring your left foot into the air and let's hold in figure 4. You know, your mood is closely related to flexibility. When your body feels tight and painful and not flexible, you get irritable really fast because you have a lot of energy holding your body nice and tight. So you don't have the freedom of movement energetically, emotionally, mentally, or physically. And that's why when you stretch, your mood improves because you have less pent up negative energy, right? All of it is interrelated. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to give my knees one last squeeze. Rock side to side. And drop your feet to the mat. So there's one last thing that is essential because again, we've been bending a lot. We want to elongate. So I'm going to scoot back and straighten my legs on the mat. I can't do it because my sofa's in the way. All right. Legs are straight. Wow. Feel that stretch right there in the hip flexor. And the other side. Wow. Hoo-wee. Good. So reach your arms overhead and go ahead and arch your lower back off the mat. If you stick your hands under there, you know it's arched. Reach through the fingertips, reach through the toes, elongate your body. For 4, 3, 2, that feels so good, and 1. When you're ready, bend your knees. Walk your feet out about as wide as the mat and allow your knees to rest upon one another. Let them knock inward. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, come back to our seated position. I feel so much better. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why I stretch the way that I do. Okay. How y'all feeling? Did you stretch? I'm going to move my ring light, so y'all just be patient. Move it over here where I normally sit. So we can have a little chat before I go. Let's see. I'm gonna grab my water. see, come up a little bit. How y'all doing? So let's talk a little about why I get into my stretch practice the way that I do. Hold on. Okay. How y'all doing this Sunday morning? Hey. This light is way brighter than I want it to be. All right, let's see. We're gonna just sit and chat about stretching and body pain and emotions. And if y'all don't follow me already on YouTube, please feel free. Once I talk about why I move the way that I move, see right now, sitting is very comfortable. Before I did that stretch, sitting would have been very difficult. My hips would have felt locked up, my lower back tight, but now I'm comfortable. Okay. And I just, if you're here and you're gonna stay and have this conversation with me, tap the screen and let's begin. So I have had a herniated disc in my lower spine for a very long time, many years. But I remember when it first started, it was so painful. I got stuck on all fours. I couldn't stand up. I didn't know what was going on. And I had just had my twins. I found out that that was a herniated disc, and they told me I would never stop being in pain. Thank you, B. I went to the chiropractor, I went to physical therapy, but eventually the pain did stop when I started working out, and I had a targeted workout. It wasn't just any workout, right? Because somebody will say, well, I work out and it still hurts. It was a certain workout that I did, okay? And that workout had to do with strengthening my entire core. Your core is your abs, your back, and your hips, right? So that was absolutely essential. And the pain stopped for a long time. And then if you've been following me for a while or since last year, you know that last year I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So part of the treatment involves a type of medicine that really causes joint pain. And it causes joint pain because it has to do with hormones. I'm not going deep into that. But every joint in my whole entire body aches all day long. Every joint and every muscle, okay? So then also I learned recently that there's some degeneration where that herniated disc was, which makes sense, right? And so all day long I hurt, and I stop hurting when I exercise. If you see me moving every day outside of exercising, you would not think that I'm the same person. Struggling to get up off the floor, struggling to get out of a car, struggling to lay down, pain during sleep, all of these things. But the moment I start moving, the pain goes away. Why is that? Number one, with stretching, because we're releasing this pent up energy, right? Because we are creating space in the body. A spacious body is a body that feels good. A body that is tight and not flexible is painful, and it takes a lot of energy to move. You feel drained. Your mood is affected, right? So when I wake up in the morning, every joint, every muscle just feels like this when I stand up. You know, this morning I didn't even want to stand up, but I knew that, you know, when you're in pain, you want to lay down, but it's counterproductive when you're talking about joint pain and muscle aching, right? It's counterproductive to lay down because the more you lay down, the tighter you get. Well, the more I move, the looser I get, the more space is created, the better I feel. So when I got in front of the camera today and I was stretching, that was very difficult for me and that was very painful. But right now I feel really good. Okay, so that's why I'm a proponent of stretching, of physical health, right? Because it affects every part of your existence. I teach yoga, I practice yoga, I study yoga because yoga has really had a beautiful effect in my world when we talk about pain management. On top of that, I can't take any steroids or anything. So relief by the steroids and such that will remove the inflammation, I can't have that. So I have to rely on natural means to assist me. Massage is so important. I have trigger point guns. I have this little massager that you can wrap around you and it kneads the muscle. I take a lot of hot baths, hot showers. Yoga is the best part of it. And then I juice. So I'll juice things that take down inflammation. My typical juice in the morning is celery juice, pineapple, ginger. I've started adding turmeric recently, lemon, black pepper, and cayenne pepper. Okay, so these are the ways that I address this chronic pain within my body, and it's not fun. It's not fun. I wish somebody could follow me around and just rub everything all day. You know, it's just like that. So I encourage you, thank you, Christina. I encourage you to move your body, right? And not just move it any kind of way, move it in the way that you need, right? For relief. Okay, so there's that. I'm done with that part. Thank you for liking the live. Thank you, B, for being here. So, is there anybody on here who deals with pain like sciatica? You know, like I said, my body is all over aching and pain. But some people have some very centralized pain like sciatica, or they've had a knee injury or hip surgery or pain in the neck or whatever it is, you know. If that is you and you want to get on a movement regimen, reach out to me. Let's chat and see how we can work together. I am a certified personal trainer. I'm certified in a bunch of different exercise formats, okay? And I also offer emotional wellness coaching. A lot of times people need to merge the emotional wellness coaching with the physical part because it's all interrelated. Okay, all right, so there's that. I'm ready to move on to a topic today. So every day as topics come to my mind, I put them in my notes on my phone, and I have hundreds of topics. I can never run out of content because all I need to do is go into these notes. So if you look here, this is just all of that is topics. And that's not the only note of topics, right? So let that be a note to you as a creator that you don't ever have to run out of content. You really don't. Just jot it down. If you don't jot it down, you're going to lose it. Okay. So yesterday, I started going through these topics. Yesterday, let me read the ones from yesterday, okay? If they can't take varying perspectives, most likely you're going to be upset if you're expecting them to see from your perspective. That was the topic. Another one we talked about was instead of blaming and complaining about a person's behavior or even their boundaries, take some time to find out why. We had a whole conversation about that. The next one was instead of complaining about who doesn't value what you offer, ask yourself how you are not valuing what you offer by sharing it with people who don't value it, right? All right, we talked about stillness. And so next, the next thing here is openness. Openness. I'm going to talk about openness just in general, and then openness as it relates to connections, whether it be friendships or romantic relationships or whatnot. And I think I'm gonna put this video on YouTube. So if you want to revisit it, you can subscribe to me on my YouTube channel at Coach Veronica Marie. All right, so openness. We all need a level of openness to enjoy life. Whenever you're closed and contracted within yourself, whenever you collapse upon your own ideas and you form this protective stance, you cannot experience the world around you in a full way. And so we all need a level of openness. How do we become more open? We need to, number one, understand that this world is full of perspectives and full of experiences that are valid. This world is full of people from different walks of life, different ways of seeing things, and those things are valid. Those ways are valid, right? There are many people who have had varying experiences. Even when we experience the same things, we have a varying inner experience. We need to understand that, and it's all valid. It all may not be true, but it all definitely is valid. And so with that, we need to work on not approaching and addressing it as so. How do you do that? You do that when you judge, right? A person says something and you judge it, you talk against it. A person expresses something and you defend, or a person expresses something and you close and contract and reject. Whenever you move in these energies consistently, it begins to take its toll on your openness. You become very closed-minded. And the thing is, you're unconscious about it. You don't think you're closed-minded. You think you're very open-minded. You think you're very non-judgmental. But the people around you can see that you're very closed-minded. So how do you know? What's a test to see if you're closed-minded? If you constantly complain about how other people are, if it affects you deeply the ways that they are, if you think they should be doing stuff that they're not, and that causes you irritation, frustration, and such, that's a sign that you are living in a closed-minded existence. An open-minded existence acknowledges, hey, I don't think the same way, but that makes sense for them. Hey, I think it should be a certain way, but that's for me to navigate myself. It's not for them. You stop imposing your thoughts on other people. You stop projecting your values on other people. You stop assuming that other people do share the same mindset as you have, and also you stop expecting them to. And I'm not talking about the people who do this out of pain, because some people get so upset and bothered that they're like, you know what, I'm just not expecting nothing from nobody. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, in a deep way, you understand that people are exactly where they need to be, and therefore you don't expect them to be outside of where they are. It's not about removing expectations because they can't do this or that. It's about realizing that your expectations don't benefit you. It certainly doesn't benefit them, but it doesn't benefit you because it doesn't result in openness. It results in closed-heartedness. So here's a question before I go. Where do you need to be more open-minded? Being open-minded doesn't mean you agree. Being open-minded doesn't mean that you take the thing on for your life, right? Being open-minded is simply saying you are having that experience. You see things that way, and it's valid. That's it. All right, so I'm gonna stop right there and see if y'all are gonna ask yourself that question, then tap the screen, and I'm gonna be getting out of here shortly. If you just popped in, I was speaking on the topic of openness from my phone. I have a lot of notes to share with y'all. Being more open is beneficial to you because your energy is available for different experiences. Being closed limits your ability to experience things, okay? All right. I'm looking to see if y'all have anything to say before I get out of here. Hey Kay, how you doing? Thank you, B, for still being here. Were any of you here when I stretched this morning? Did you stretch too? I want to know. Did y'all stretch this morning? Or did y'all watch? Let's see who is here. Let me make sure I follow y'all. That's the other thing. I followed everyone that I see is here. All right. Well, peace be unto your day. I may come back a little bit later when everybody is awake, because I know I'm typically not doing a lot of talking on Sunday morning. And we'll connect then. Y'all have a beautiful rest of the morning.